Basketball fans, welcome back. So I saw this report that said the Dallas Mavericks fans are sending death threats to Nico Harrison over the controversial trade. So the trade in question is Luka Doncic being sent to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis. So what do you expect? The fans are angry. The fans are protesting. And I'm not one to say that I'm supporting what the fans are doing, but it's obviously and abundantly clear that the Mavs fan base are angry with this trade. And I want to highlight a huge disconnect between the Mavs ownership, the NBA front office, and the NBA league office, and the fans who watch. So the fans pay the season tickets and pay tickets, all that. They buy league passes so that they can be able to watch the game. And more specifically in this case, they paid because they are following Luka Doncic's spectacular career so far. So when you as a GM, Nico Harrison, decide to sit on your desk and say, the reason as to why we are trading away Luka Doncic is because you don't want to give him the supermax of $350 million over 5 years. He's lazy. He's quote-unquote lazy. He's quote-unquote can't play defense, while the man has been in 5 All-NBA selections and 1 Rookie of the Year, took that team to the finals last year, and said that the real reason as to why he's not good enough, he can't lead us to a championship because he can't play defense and he's not good in conditioning. So when somebody comes out and tries to reason like that and not understand that there's gravity in the situation whereby people, the fans in the Dallas Mavericks nation, the Mavs fans for life. I'm not a Dallas Mavericks fan, I'm a Laker fan, but when a fan has invested time, energy, and resources in following this team, and you set the franchise back by trading away the star player, of course they're going to get angry. I'm not agreeing with them sending death threats to you, but when you go ahead and trade away somebody who is so important to the team, and is the main reason as to why people are sitting, paying courtside seats, paying season tickets to go and watch, and you send away the big draw to another big market team, and the Dallas Mavericks team is a small market, and they don't generate as much money like that, you're bound to get threats like this. So I'm not condoning these threats, but this guy had it coming, because you could see how tone deaf he was, even with Jason Kidd there, when there was that interview where Jason Kidd was looking all awkward, Nico Harrison was trying to laugh it off. The man knew that he's going to get a lot of backlash, and he was trying to put on a brave face and try to, joke and try to show that he's okay with it. But initially, you could just see a lot of people were very disgruntled. Even Mark Cuban, somebody even said he would rather divorce his wife than trade away Luka Doncic, tried to stop the trade. There are reports that came out and said he tried to stop the trade and tried to say, you know what, please don't go ahead with this trade. Don't do it. But the man, because he's very tone deaf, he went ahead and did it. And because he looked at, we don't want to pay this guy that money. We're not sure if he's gonna give us a championship. So he made that decision, that business decision. And this guy, Nico Harrison, forgot that the fans are the real reason as to why you have a job, the reason as to why you make money, and it's the reason as to why these massive contracts are given to these athletes. So this is a classic situation of the front office of an organization, the NBA, not caring and disrespecting the fans. So Nico Harrison is getting death threats. So the fan base of the Dallas Mavericks have been protesting outside the American Airlines Center, and it's not looking good for the Dallas Mavericks. So the Dallas Mavericks are trying to move forward in the wake of one of the most biggest trades in NBA history. But as the front office is trying to adapt, the fans are still upset over their star player being traded away. They have made it known with death threats being sent to GM Nico Harrison and protests all over the city. So this is the way the fans are going to react. So there was a note that was quoted as saying, "This is a heartbroken fan base that, and there has been some very unfortunate developments regarding that anger and angst. Nico Harrison has been subjected to death threats. There have been racial epithets, including some of those threats. Security is going to be beefed up. There will be protests outside the arena. At least those are planned. Nico Harrison will not be in his normal seat in the stands. There is no reason to subject him to that kind of security risks. And it's unfortunate for the whole storyline. Obviously, the fans are angry, and and they have every right to get angry as their generational superstar has been traded away, and clearly a line has been crossed. So that's note, and people are even going in and issuing racial epithets to Nico Harrison, something I do not encourage. I mean, I do not encourage the death threats. I don't like it. But looking at how this situation unfolded, you are bound to receive such backlash, because one thing that the Dallas Mavericks front office, GM Nico Harrison, failed to understand is, yes, you may hold all the authority and power of the team and the players, but you don't hold the power to convince the fans that you're right. Because at every single point, they're gonna get it. So to say that the Mavericks fans grew attached to Luka Doncic over the years might be an understatement, because they loved him. He was embraced by the fans. Luka Doncic comes from Slovenia, but he was embraced by the Dallas Mavericks nation. And looking at even the footsteps of Dirk Nowitzki, he played for the Dallas Mavericks for his entire career. And he was embraced. People loved him. He brought them a championship. He did all that. And people wanted to relive that through Luka Doncic. Even I saw a viral, interview for a fan that was going on, and he went on and said, Luka Doncic should have had a statue. This is a man who'd led them to the NBA Finals. He was there in the Western Conference Finals 2022. He was a guy that had superstar written on his forehead. But, it was sad to see him get traded away in that manner. So during Luka Doncic's rise to stardom, Luka was given the keys to the franchise, and fans began to cherish and celebrate his game like they did Dirk Nowitzki not too long ago. So in 7 years of the Dallas Mavericks, Luka averaged 29 points, 9 boards, 8 assists, and shot 46% from the field. He is a generational talent, and at just 25 years old, he was on a trajectory to become one of the best players in the NBA. So suddenly, and without any warning, Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers, and the Mavericks fans were robbed of the experience of watching the hometown hero go ahead and win it for the city. So Luka wasn't just a Mavericks player. He was an icon for the city and the face of Dallas Mavericks basketball. So you trade away your franchise player, then you expect people to accept you. Of course you're going to get threats. People are frustrated, people are upset. They're going to try to do things to you. So even Nico Harrison, he knows the gravity of the situation. That is why his security is beefed up. He can't even watch the games anymore. And even the Mavs owners are getting booed. I saw a video where, Mavs fans were booing one of their owners. So that's what's going to happen, because, even online, fans have expressed their anger in many forms, such as people just going ahead and tweeting Nico Harrison besides the protests, because people, the fans there were invested in Luka Doncic. So the entire NBA was taken aback and was shocked. I was shocked included, because when I got the news, when I woke up, I was scrolling through my social media as usual. It was a Sunday morning. Then immediately I saw Luka Doncic with a Laker jersey. So I was like, you know what? Well, what is this? Is this a joke? But it was a credible page. I really like, following basketball forever. That's why I get like the updates. But when I went to Shams, I saw it's actually true. So when I saw this, I was like, nah, this ain't real. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy. So on February 8th, the Dallas Mavericks will return at home to face their fans for the first time at the American Airlines Center, with many protests planned and a potential boycott of the game. It's going to be a dramatic scene. That was on Saturday. So the Dallas Mavericks are not looking good at all, and Nico Harrison is going to continue getting threats for a while before we see Anthony Davis, play well. Because even in the first game that Anthony Davis played, he played very well until the third quarter, where he went down with a non-contact injury. And now a lot of people are going to gauge the decision to trade away Luka Doncic with how good Anthony Davis is going to be. If the Anthony Davis Luka Doncic trade flops and we see that Anthony Davis is going to be ruled out for the rest of the season, let me tell you, the protest will not stop. Nico Harrison better just stay home. He should stay with security. You should get Metro SWAT to just make sure that he's safe, because the whole Dallas Mavericks nation will descend on him, and they're not going to be pretty about it. And as a Laker fan, I'm not too fond of this trade at all, because even trading away Luka Doncic, we still have a front court place we need to fill. And looking at the way the roster is constructed, I don't think that we have enough guys who are going to go ahead and do it for us. So I'll make a video talking about that. But in closing, the NBA fans are upset, especially the Dallas Mavericks fans. They unfollowed the Dallas Mavericks page on Instagram. They are sending death threats. They're issuing racial epithets to Nico Harrison. The Mavs fans are getting booed. Even I saw a video where Mark Cuban, he was seated courtside and he turned back and he said, please sit down and keep quiet. I'm not going to say, it's YouTube. He said, sit down and keep quiet. So stop saying that. So people are expressing their frustration on this trade. And I don't think even if they express their frustration, it's going to stop, because it's going to continue. So it's a very sad situation for the NBA. I can say this trade alone has changed how we looked at, we are going to be looking at superstars, because with the contracts being signed, they have no trade clauses. So that gives, not only do the players have power during free agency, but also organizations have power. If they sign these supermax deals and they have no trade clauses on them, that means these players can be traded any time. So if a Luka Doncic can get traded, nobody's safe. Even I saw an interview where Anthony Edwards said, you know what, man, if you're going to trade me, just please tell me. So anyone can get traded. Even I saw some reports saying that like the Dallas Mavericks, they had the audacity to go to the Bucks and ask them for Giannis. It was crazy. It was crazy. I didn't understand it at all. So why this trade was made, and it was made behind closed doors. Nobody came out and said that they wanted trade. Nobody said that, because if the trade came out publicly, you would see teams throwing out their whole entire team to trade for Luka Doncic. So it is remortgaging their future. So it was crazy. We saw what happened to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was visibly saying, trade me. He was saying, trade me now. I don't want to be here. It took some time for that trade to be made. But this trade, GM Nico Harrison, this is the second week. It's not going to stop. You're going to get trolled. You're going to get threatened. You're going to receive a lot of things because of your decision to trade away a franchise and an icon for the Dallas Mavericks nation. So it is what it is. So if you guys like the video, make sure you leave your feedback down in the comments. What you think about this. I'm going to talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.